Yo, what up, guys? So is eating dinner alone as bad as it sounds? Someone has gone through this experience, it seems like, for the first time in his or her life, and they're traumatized. And so I want to go ahead and read this post for you guys and give you guys my personal thoughts on it. I mean, I'm just reading this. It seems like a little bit of an overreaction, but you never know. There's a lot of people who try things for the first time and they go through a pretty traumatic experience. So, let's try to give this person the benefit of the doubt and try to give them some advice. So the title of this post says, I went to dinner alone last night and it was just as horrible as I imagined. It says, people say that it's no big deal, but it was so uncomfortable sitting there alone, staring at my phone while everyone else was chatting and laughing with friends nearby. Also, when I got up to go to the bathroom, a waiter was about to clean up my table and I wasn't even done eating yet. I've been there, done that, so you're not alone. People say that it is a liberating experience and it is so much fun to eat alone. It is not. It's horrible and humiliating and I felt so lonely. 14,000 people have participated in this poll. Let me just go ahead and view the results. And 62% of people have said that I've gone alone and it's fun. 21.5% have said I've gone alone and it sucks. And 16.4% of people have never gone to a restaurant alone. Well, you guys are definitely missing out. I guess you guys could see where I'm going with this, but yeah, it's a unique experience. And what I'll say first of all is we're all different, right? Some of us are introverts, some of us are extroverts. A lot of us are somewhere on that spectrum. For me, I grew up as an introverted person. I think I'm like an ISTJ on the MBTI. And I've always found some peace and some enjoyment from eating alone. But for me, it really depends. And, during the week when I'm by myself and I've got my own private time before work, after work, and have the opportunity to go out in public and enjoy a meal, there are times when I want to just enjoy a meal. And oftentimes when I'm by myself, I'll go to kind of like a more kind of a fast casual place like a Chipotle or a hole-in-the-wall falafel place or something, relatively healthy where I can just enjoy my food. Sometimes they'll be packed with people, sometimes they'll be a little bit more quiet. And of course, if it's a little bit less hectic, then obviously you don't feel that sort of anxiety that people are staring at you, which most people aren't. They're more worried about themselves and what's in front of them and the conversations they're having. But yeah, I just enjoy that quiet time for myself. I can be listening to a podcast, I could be watching something on YouTube, or I could just be alone in my thoughts, just enjoying the meal and just thinking or daydreaming about whatever it is. And that's going to come with time. That's going to come through repetition. And at a certain point, you're going to realize that people just don't care. And that you're a lot more self-conscious about it than other folks are. So that would be kind of my first bits of advice. If you're going through this and you're feeling sort of this anxiety and thinking that, wow, I'm such a loser, or no one else is sitting by themselves, I'm the only one, what's wrong with me? Those thoughts will slowly start to fade away. And then of course, if you're on the other side and you're an extrovert and you want to just be around people all the time, then yeah, eating alone by yourself can be a challenge, especially in a public place where there's just a lot of noise and hustle and bustle, and you're trying to cope with that. And we're all different, right? Like I said, I'm an introvert. My girlfriend's an extrovert. She would probably feel more of what you're feeling, where eating in public alone is just the most horrible thought in the world, that you want to be with someone so that you don't look like you're alone. And, it is what it is. We're all very different. But like I said, I think it's something that's just going to adjust over time. I think personally, there's just a lot of benefits also too, just eating alone. To consider the fact that when you're eating alone, you don't have to wait for the other person or other persons. When you're finished, you can pay the bill and walk and leave. You can also just go at your own pace. You can do whatever you want to do. Like I said, watching a movie on your phone or listening to a podcast and not really caring about what other people think. But when you're also eating with other people, the proper etiquette is that you're engaged in the conversation, you're making small talk, you're talking about, whatever it is and asking a bunch of questions. So meals in groups or with other people tend to drag on a little bit longer. You also need to meet them at their own pace. So there's certain trade-offs that you have when you're eating in a group versus eating by yourself. So take those things into consideration. You brought up some good points though. When you're by yourself and you leave the table for whatever reason to go to the bathroom, people might think you're finished and they might start to clean up, and that can be a little bit of an awkward situation. You can just tell the waiter, hey, sorry, I'm not finished. Or if they have one of those, a lot of restaurants have those little cards where you can say, hey, I'm still finishing my meal. Now, if eating out alone is still challenging, it's still difficult after multiple tries, and you're just not someone who wants or desires that, then don't do it. Get your food to go. Cook more at home, meal prep, pack a lunch, or just go out to eat when you have other people to go with you. I would also suggest that go to locations where there's maybe not that many people so you don't feel like you're the only one, or go to places where maybe they have like a bar setting, right? Where you can sit down at a bar where there's a lot of other single people and just make small talk and use that as sort of an opportunity to also connect, network, so on and so forth, rather than going to a wide open restaurant where they have multiple tables and booths and they're all occupied by more than one person and you're the only one in the middle by yourself. Or if you go to these restaurants and you feel that, hey, I'm just by myself, I don't want to cause too much of a scene, I just want to be alone and not stand out in any certain way, just ask the waiter or the host that, hey, could I get a table maybe in the back or on the side where it's just not going to get a lot of attention? There's a lot of little tricks and tips that you can do when you're out by yourself where you don't want to stand out. And I think some of these things are just super easy to do. Or you could just, like I said, go out only when you're with someone else, or order to go, or eat at home. There's just a lot of ways to get around this. So it really shouldn't be the end of the world. My suggestion though, as an introverted person, is to try it. After a while, you'll get used to it. It's not a big deal. Are habitual creatures. And so the more you try something, the more you're going to adjust and enjoy it. So I would not worry about it too much. Enjoy it. Enjoy the time by yourself. Use that time to be alone in your thoughts or to consume content or whatever it is, network, mingle with people, because we are social creatures at the end of the day. And it seems like from your post that you're someone who's much more extroverted, someone who gets energy from being around other people and wants to be social. So if that's your thing, there's ways to go ahead and accommodate that. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments down below if there are other tips that you would suggest to this OP. I thought it was an interesting post that's non-work related. Sometimes you just read these posts and you want to laugh a little bit, but it's a real problem. And I know that a lot of people go through these things, but they just really don't talk about it too often. So it's good to know and acknowledge that stuff like this exists. Anyways, guys, we'll catch you guys later. Have a great day. Peace out.